Hey, it's Jamie from runningrestaurants.com. What we have for you today is a slice of a recent webinar I did with Roger Bogman from restaurantrockstars.com called How to Put Your Restaurant House in Order. Enjoy. Hey, it's Jamie here from runningrestaurants.com. We all know that for restaurants, large costs can pop up fast, right? Broken kitchen appliances, a leaky roof, the list goes on and on. But the traditional loan process is too slow, and that's why I want to tell you about Zinch. Zinch is a direct lender that makes financing fast and simple. Just fill out a quick online application and provide a copy of your four most recent bank statements, and you can get approval within 24 hours. Right now, Zinch is waiving application fees for my listeners. That's a $250 value. So go to financingthatworks.com. That's financingthatworks.com. Loans made or arranged pursuant to a California finance lender's law license. Roger, I think you're going to go to menu costing right now.
Yeah, just to keep rolling. Now, this is vitally important because, as we mentioned earlier, costs are rising beyond our control. I've heard of Mexican restaurants that can't get avocados to make guacamole because the price went through the roof. During the pandemic, months and months ago, chicken wings were like unbelievable amounts, like $25 a pound, like ridiculous amounts. And now it's cost prohibitive to serve those to your customers because who's going to pay, ridiculous prices for chicken wings on a menu just because they love chicken wings? I mean, they might, but these are the challenges that we have. But you wouldn't know this if you don't accurately cost out your menu. And this is so critically important right now. And so many restaurants that I've worked with just don't have costing sheets on every single menu item. So we're really going to get into this and how important it is. So we have a spreadsheet. It's called the menu item plate cost. And all this information, again, comes from the order guide or the invoices that you bring in. And again, there's homework involved here, but this is a kitchen manager's job or someone you can trust that's intimately involved with preparing your food items. So this should be done for every single appetizer, every single item, every salad, every burger, every sandwich, every entree, every dessert. It's important stuff, people. I can't emphasize enough having a cost sheet, and I'll show you why. And I'll explain in a moment, but let's just go through the process. Okay, all the math, again, all the items, the ingredients that go into every dish on your menu shows up on your order guide. It shows up on your invoices. So you need to figure out what actually gets served to a customer. Now, this is a pizza example. I work with pizza places. I work with full-serve restaurants. And this is an accurate cost sheet that a client of mine just sent in for purposes of this illustration. This is absolutely accurate. It's about 2 weeks old. So obviously, they're making their own dough. So they've figured out that the cost of a dough ball, or even if they didn't make their own, a lot of people buy dough balls from their supplier. And the cost of a dough ball might be 2 cents per ounce. Okay, and there's an 8-ounce dough ball. You can see that. So the cost of that one piece of dough that goes into a pizza is 16 cents. There's olive oil here. They've calculated the amount of olive oil that goes on the pizza to be 19 cents. Now, this is math. It's simple. A calculator, pad and pencil, going from your order guide or going from your invoice. You've got to figure out and break down the large amount that comes into your store and then break it down by how many units you would get out of anything you buy that goes into one particular menu item for one particular customer. Again, there's some homework involved here, but it's simple math. But every single item needs to be broken down by all the ingredients that go into it. And as you can see, there's cheese involved here. There's 72 cents worth of mozzarella. There's red sauce that costs, they figured out it was 16 cents for the red sauce that goes on the pizza. Interesting pizza here, mashed potato, bacon, scallion. It's actually one of our favorite pizza places, also gave us this information, but we order this pizza quite a bit, so I'm familiar with it. But notice that there's also a pizza box on here. And the pandemic really shifted this because prior to the pandemic, I used to consider takeout containers, cost of doing business, operating supplies. Now people consider them to be part of obviously what goes out the door and how they serve customers. If it's a takeout place, you include the packaging, and because the packaging has gone crazy with the pandemic, the cost of takeout containers and pizza boxes and all this stuff has gone through the roof. And obviously the pandemic shifted everything from a full service model to, pickup and delivery and curbside and all that kind of stuff. And now we include the cost of the pizza box. But let's get down to the math. Okay. This spreadsheet automatically calculates all the ingredients that go into this one pizza, and you'll see that it's $2.80, including the box, which costs 38 cents. That's your plate cost. Every single item, whether it's an appetizer, a pizza, an entree, a dessert, has a plate cost, which again is all the ingredients that are going into that dish, and the cost of each individual ingredient added up gives you a plate cost total. Now, just below that is menu cost. That's obviously what you charge the customer. This particular pizza place charges $18 for a pizza that costs them $2.80 to serve that guest. Okay? To calculate the food cost, the spreadsheet's automatically doing it, but if you don't have the spreadsheet and you're just doing it with pencil and paper, the simple math is the plate cost total of $2.80 gets divided by the $18 menu cost that the customers charge, and that gives you a 16% food cost on the pizza. And then the profit, of course, is also simple math. That's $18 you charge the customer minus the $2.80 it cost you to make the pizza, and your profit per pizza is $15.20. Okay, you need this for every single dish. The next spreadsheet is going to illustrate why this is so important. And before we get into that, I kind of want to explain why this is really going to illustrate why it's so important. I work with clients and I kind of specialize in this now, and it's a complete menu analysis. At the beginning of this webinar, we talked about some people think that designing a great menu is where you place things on the menu, okay? No, this is really what I'm talking about here. Before I explain this spreadsheet, I'm going to tell you this is a recent client. They did just under $3 million in annual sales. Nice volume, nice full serve restaurant here. They've got lots of different categories. Obviously, they have appetizers. Some people call them starters. They have soups and salads, burgers and sandwiches. They have entrees. They have desserts. These are all categories. So my very first question, what's the most popular item? Well, they could tell this flies out of the kitchen, all that kind of stuff. But when I asked them, what's your most profitable item? They couldn't tell me this because they didn't have recent cost sheets for every item. And they were making money, but they really didn't know how much they could be making. So this $3 million restaurant, after I plugged all the information into this template that I'm going to go through in just a second, I showed them that they lost a potential profit of $343,000 off that $3 million in sales simply because the lowest profit items in every one of those menu categories was stealing sales from the higher profit items in that category. And now there's a difference that I call the spread. Let's just talk about appetizers. What does the spread mean? You might have 5 appetizers on your menu, and one might contribute a $5 profit, one might contribute a $3 profit. The difference between those profits is $2. That's the spread. The problem is you don't want to be losing $2 by selling this versus that. You want every item in every category to contribute a very similar profit. And know that it is absolutely possible to do this through menu design and engineering. And we're going to get into how you do that in a minute. But let's just say you want your spread to be pennies and not dollars. So in the appetizers, I don't care if you're losing 40 or 50 or 60 cents. You just don't want to be losing $2, $2.50, $3 every time you sell this versus that. On the entree side, it's even scarier because this restaurant, was losing $7, $8, $10 on the spread every time the lower profit items were bigger sellers. So now I can go through this spreadsheet. Bear with me. I don't want you to be complicated. I don't want you to be confused by it. But again, this is a template that we now sell and that I work with clients specifically on. So this is the entree category alone for this restaurant client that I'm talking about that lost the $343,000. So the very number one most profitable entree in green at the very top was seafood stuffed shrimp. They charged, so much for on the menu, but the profit that it contributed was $17.88. Every time they sold the seafood stuffed shrimp, they were making almost $18 profit. That's really, really nice. You want to do that on your entrees if possible. But notice that they only sold 516 of these, okay? And off to the right, there's a popularity column, and all this information comes right from a point of sale system because a sales report will tell you volume of sales of every single item you're selling, how much you charge for it, and what the total amount of sales is for that item. So this turned out to be the number 8th most popular item. So in descending order, just below the $17.88 in green, you'll see the word profit spread. And then in descending order, number 2, number 3, number 4, you'll see that the number 2 item is 80 cents less profitable than the number 1. If you go down almost 3/4 of the way in red, you'll see $6.24 for an item called chicken cordon bleu. This restaurant sold 1,805 of those over the past year. And now, since every time they sold one, they lost a potential profit of $6 and change versus the most profitable item, then the spreadsheet automatically showed them that by selling 1,800 of these, they lost $11,263 from what they could have sold. The bottom line is $45,566, and that was just the entree category. And again, we had appetizers, soup, salads, burgers, sandwiches, pizzas, desserts. And when you added all those categories up total, the bottom line amount was $300,000+ in lost profit. That's the importance of menu engineering. You don't want to be losing dollars in each category. You want to be losing cents. So I don't care if your entrees are 80 or 90 cents difference in profit. That's okay, reasonable, because yes, not everyone is going to order a seafood stuffed shrimp, but the whole goal is to design a menu where everything contributes a similar profit, where that spread is pennies and not dollars. Critically important. I've now done this exercise for 5 different restaurants in the past 2 years, and the results have been very, very similar. So for whatever reason, lower profit items steal sales from higher profit items, and no restaurant can afford to lose this kind of money. And this is your combat against those costs that are out of your control. Rising food costs, rising labor costs. You got to maximize every single sale in your business, but more importantly, you got to maximize profit on every single thing you sell every single day.